didn't finish high school. My friends left me behind. Life was going nowhere the way I read the sign. I hopped on in Wilmington before the sun could rise. Metal wheels and screaming steel, they helped me out of sight. Helped me out of sight. Now it's my time as the train rolls down the line. Straight and steady tracks are on my mind. There's nothing in my way, and there's no one here to say that my past can keep God's blessing from reaching me today. Reaching me today. Pushing up behind and pushing me out west.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching part 4 of the Khopesh sword collaboration between me and Alec Steele. What you just saw me do was start hand sanding the wooden scales and grinding them to the shape of the handle. And I've left the tops very flat, and I've already laid out some lines because what I'm going to be doing, exciting part, is inlaying some mother of pearl into the top of the handle. And that's going to create a really nice contrast, especially when the blade is etched and it will be Damascus. You know, the blade will all be dark, and then it'll have a dark handle, and then it'll have mother of pearl in the center. After I do that, I'll go back over with 1500 grit on the wood and finalize everything, buff it. Those scales will just be beautiful, and I will set them to the side, start hand sanding the blade, and then those scales can be put back on in the very end when the blade is already etched and they're ready to be glued on.
9,000 pounds of circumstance rolling off my back as 9,000 tons of train was rolling gently down that track. Gently down that track. It was my time as the train rolled down the line. Straight and steady tracks were on my mind. There was nothing in my way. There was no one there to say that my past would keep God's blessing from reaching me that day. Oh, reaching me that day.
So what I've done here is just glue on the mother of pearl pieces, gotten them lined up in place. This is where they're going to be, and I need to actually start inlaying it. So I've never done an inlay like this before, and this is also the first time that I've ever worked with mother of pearl, and it's a really cool material. I want to use more of it in the future, but I am not an expert on inlay. There's a mastersmith named Mike Quisenberry who I chat with back and forth, and I kind of bounce things off of him when I'm not too sure about them, and he was giving me his tips on inlaying, and he had a really cool way of doing it that would definitely be a more accurate, better way than what I'm about to do, but it requires a material that I can't get today. Today is Sunday, and I'd have to drive 45 minutes each way to get that material, and I can't afford to wait another day to do this since I'm leaving New Mexico in just a couple days. So I'm going to do this very simple way, just by simply cutting it out with these chisels. I think that it will be really nice. I'll just have to go really slow and take my time.
Stepping through the fog in the middle of the night, my feet are crunching gravel in the pale moonlight. At 4:30 there's a train that leaves town, that I've been running in my dreams every night for a while. And if this train will pull me through wind and rain, I can leave it all behind. Pull my tired body up the rolling grade, I can almost see the light. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, whatever's in between for me is a bust. You know it isn't that hard for you to say goodbye when nobody cares to see you make it out alive. So if this train will pull me through wind and rain, I can leave it all behind. Pull my broken body up the rolling grade, I can almost see the light. There's a long, long way to go, but I know this train will bring me home. So if you're looking for love, you better open your eyes. You might find it on the back of Norfolk 99. Only God above can make the stars alive, so he's pulling redemption on the freight train line. Yes sir, I'm your redemption on a freight train line. If this train will pull me through wind and rain, I will leave it all behind. Now we're pulling right along the rolling grade, I can finally see the light. There's a long, long way to go, but I know this train will bring me home.
Man, was that a lot of work, but a very rewarding result in the end. This mother of pearl is just an absolutely beautiful natural material. You can just stare and stare and stare at this stuff and move it around, and just it never gets old. It's like it's iridescent, and every time you move it, you get a different pattern. It's just amazing. This is the first time that I've ever worked with this stuff. I'm definitely going to be using it again in some of my pieces. The inlay process was certainly pretty difficult and time consuming. I'm actually really proud of myself for how it turned out, considering what kind of tools I was using. I mean, I had 4 hours of carving out those grooves alone, just so carefully, so slowly, just inching around that line. And actually on the first scale I started with a Dremel, and on the second scale I did it 100% with the hand tools, because I just found that the hand tools were actually faster and more accurate, for me anyways. It's kind of weird how that happens. You just kind of devolve into hand tools and they end up working better in the end. And I wanted to clarify also, you saw me glue that mother of pearl in, and I used super glue to glue that mother of pearl in. And all that super glue does is allow me to grind the mother of pearl down with the handle. But when I go to actually do the final glue up on the handle, I'm going to be using a much higher quality glue, and that will adhere to the mother of pearl through that big hole that I drilled in the back of the scale. So everything will be glued and tied together, and it will be strong. I really can't wait to see how the Damascus pattern looks on this thing, and it is going to be killer with this handle. I mean, right now the handle's all shiny and it looks okay, but when this thing is Damascus with the mother of pearl and the ebony, it's going to be something else. I think it's going to be pretty jaw-dropping, and I don't really know what the pattern is. I mean, I've kind of seen bits and pieces here and there while I've been working on this, but haven't really been able to see the whole thing yet, and I have refrained from taking sneak peeks. Next video, I am going to be finishing up the sword 100% completely. The handle is 100% done at this point, the wood part of the handle, that is. So those get set aside, and then when everything else is done, I just pop them back on and they'll be good to go. So I'll really have something to look forward to when I get back, and that's going to be finishing up this sword. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. If you like the video, please share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and look for part 5 in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching.